Tash.
And I'm Damo.
And together, we're here to bring you another episode of The
The
Barry Chronicles.
Thanks so much for joining us on this.
Yeah, that's okay.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
first off, on making such a huge decision.
Yeah, it was definitely a big one.
That really is extraordinarily courageous. Can you talk us through how that happened? Like how you came to decide that it was something that you wanted to do?
I guess I've struggled with my weight like most of my childhood, so it's not something that's like foreign to me.
Yeah.
And I guess I'd been kind of surrounded by people that had had weight loss surgery. And it was actually my mum that came to me with the idea. Like she didn't push it on me or anything, but she just kind of said, you know, this is an option and we'd support you financially and like emotionally if this is something you wanted. And
yay for mothers.
yeah, I know, she's the best. But yeah, so that's kind of how it came to be. And then I sat with it for a little while, and then after a few months, I was kind of pretty determined that that was something I wanted to follow through with, and yeah, we made it happen. So yeah,
that's so great. That's when you said that you were surrounded by people that have had weight loss surgery, are there a few people in your family that have gone down that route, or friends, or?
Friends, yeah, not much my family, but I just have known people that have had it. So yeah.
And you were is it correct? You were 17?
Yeah, I was 17. I was in grade 12, midway through grade 12.
Wow, what a time to to undertake that. Obviously, growing up, I was also a bigger person, and I found my school years pretty challenging. I know that Damo can.
Yeah. Kids were pretty cruel.
Yeah.
Did you have much of that?
Look, I think I definitely got a little bit lucky with some of that, but like obviously there's components that I can remember, but a lot of it I probably tried to block out. So I don't have a great memory of it, to be honest with you, but it probably definitely happened at some point.
Yeah.
I'd say primary school is probably crueler.
Great.
People are a little bit more sensitive to weight now, I think. So I would probably got a little bit lucky in high school with. I also just surrounded myself with good people, so that probably helped too. So,
do you know what, Damo and I often talk about that, about how your generation and younger, you're just beautiful humans, so much kinder than the generation I firmly believe than what we grew up in anyway.
Look, it's yes and no. Hey, like sometimes I find that people that are a little bit older can be a bit more understanding, but then I think that my generation are definitely more sensitive to certain things. So
yeah, I totally agree with that.
What weight loss surgery did you actually have?
I had a gastric sleeve. That's what the surgeon recommended for me at that age, but I'm actually in the process of going through to have a revision because of reflux. So I'm a little bit regretful of what one I chose to have, but again, I was just following their advice. So yeah.
Yeah, so would you be potentially heading down the path of a mini or a full bypass?
I'm thinking full, but again, I will listen to what they recommend for me.
Yeah, of course.
The first time around, they were just hesitant in regards to if I wanted to have children, the pregnancies being more high risk with a bypass than a sleeve. But look, at this point in my life, that's not something I really think about. And I think that, you know, medicine and everything's come a long way, that there's definitely things that can support you through pregnancy after having a bypass. And I know people that have had pregnancies after bypass. So, yeah.
And reflux is horrible.
It is.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. It's not something I had before, so.
Yeah, that would be really hard. I had reflux before and then having it after, and it's just wrecked my teeth, and that'd be my biggest regret about the sleeve would be the. So good on you for speaking up and going, you know, you're going to do something about it, because
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
way too young
Yeah.
to be living with reflux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, weight loss surgery during school. How did you manage that? Like, I mean, year 12 especially, it's such a huge workload.
Yeah, look, I think to understand how I did that, you have to kind of understand a little bit about my history. So I have a lot of health problems and have
Right.
had extensive surgery in the past. So I've definitely become well adjusted, well, had come well adjusted to, I guess, schooling from distance. Like I was
Okay.
enrolled on campus, but I had to adjust to basically teach myself everything because I've been sick my entire life. So I, have spent a lot of time in and out of hospital having to kind of learn from a distance. So that wasn't really something I struggled with. Probably the biggest thing I struggled with having weight loss surgery that was different to all the other times I'd had to have time off was because of the diet, incorporating the diet phases and going back to school. Like,
Yeah.
and when I wasn't sure whether I wanted to be open about it yet and who I wanted to tell at school that I'd had it done, it was kind of hard to hide when you're eating pureed food in front of your friends. They're going to
Yeah.
kind of question what's going on. So I had to be pretty open from the start with, my immediate circle. But yeah, then I decided, I'm not going
Were
to
they
keep
good
this
about
a
it?
secret. Yeah, definitely. I was surrounded by, I honestly have had no comments from anybody. If I've
That's
had
so
any comments from
wonderful.
anyone, it's from like older people. But yeah, none of my friends have ever like said anything ill about my decision. So yeah.
I think that is just wonderful. It really, really is.
Yeah.
And obviously, with you having those other medical issues, schooling by distance has just become something that obviously you were very good at. So well done on
Yeah.
that too. We have
Thank you.
in our family, we have kids that currently school by distance, that have always schooled by distance, and my own children actually schooled by distance for 7 years. So
Oh wow, okay. So you know it. You know it well.
yeah, we do. So
Yeah.
I totally understand that particular type of schooling, and also how motivated of a young person you obviously are to be able to do that so well yourself.
Yeah, thank you. It was definitely an interesting time in life.
So, thinking about the weight loss surgery and that, what do you think your challenges around food were after weight loss surgery?
Biggest challenge definitely mental. Like
Yeah.
the whole, I'm actually not hungry, I don't need to eat type of
Yeah.
thing. Like it was just by habit that I ate at certain times of the day, and I was like, oh, I've got to be a little bit more intuitive now and not just eat because I can. So that was definitely probably my biggest barrier was, having to
Yeah.
follow the actual physical cues instead of the mental, you've got to eat now.
Oh, it's 12 o'clock. I must be hungry.
I know, yeah. And it was just an emotional thing too. Like food was definitely my coping mechanism. Like, so trying to deal with going through like emotional and physical turmoil without turning to food as a coping mechanism and having to find other ways to cope with things. So yeah, that was probably my biggest adjustment with food, and still is. Like it's still something that I have to actually think about sometimes. And yeah,
Yeah.
not an overnight thing, is it?
No, it's not. So,
No.
what sort of coping mechanisms do you use now?
Well, I never used to be much of a cooker, but I love to cook and feed other people now. That's probably my biggest one. But yeah, definitely just finding like walking my dog, doing activities with my dog, like just anything other than food.
Yeah.
I was a makeup artist for many years. That was my other coping mechanism. Like I would just create with makeup, just other things that I could kind of create something with instead of internalizing everything. So yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And is your dog okay? You said this
Yeah.
morning.
Oh, she's a silly little thing. She has a bad back, and we were playing fetch yesterday afternoon, and she heard it, and then last night she tried to jump on my bed, and she heard it again. She's okay. She's just on some pain medication now, so.
Yeah.
Very, very, very glad to hear that, because we both have doggies, so we understand.
We love our fur babies.
Yeah, I camped out on the lounge room floor with her last night because I didn't want to have to jump up and down the bed. So I was sleeping out there with her, and I was crying. I was thinking, I hate seeing her in pain, not being able to help her. It's awful, isn't it?
Yeah. So, having surgery younger, are you happy with that decision?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. I guess I don't know different though, right? But also, like, I just think with a lot of things, this is how I consider it. Like, I think this is the age I am now. Do I want to have this confidence now, or would I have wanted that when I'm 40 plus, you know? Like, that's how I think about things. That's how I went into my abdominoplasty last year and everything. Like, everyone's recommendation was, you know, wait until after you've had children, wait until you've reached this milestone or this milestone. I just kept thinking to myself, you know, like, this is my life. And do I want to have the freedom, the comfort, the confidence, and all of the things that come along with it now? Or would I rather live another 20 years miserable, just kind of surviving and not, you know, thriving with things? So that's kind of how I think about it.
I love your mindset.
I had it. Yeah,
I absolutely love it, because and I totally agree. You know, one of the reasons why we wanted to speak with you, Ellie, is because we just really want people to start to consider that perhaps this is a really good option for younger people. I think still at the moment there is a little bit of fear, I suppose, around people having surgery younger. And
lots of controversy too.
There really, really is. And I think coming from somebody that was, you know, bigger, is I know how much it impacted me, my confidence, my image around my body, you know, like just all of those types of things, how it affected, you know, intimate relationships and all of that sort of thing. Yeah. I wish that I had known or had that opportunity as a younger person myself. And I just really love the fact that you've been bold enough to take this kind of a step at the age that you are. You can advocate for people that are younger who maybe even are frightened to say, hey, look, I'd like to consider surgery as an option.
Yeah, it's definitely been crazy. Like, I've made a lot of I've got quite a few followers on social media, and I get messages daily from people, young people, that are considering it and want to know how to have conversations with family and how to go about finding a surgeon that's willing to operate, stuff like that. That is definitely harder to navigate as a younger person, because, you know, not everyone has had surgery and knows how to navigate the health system as well.
That's exactly right.
So that's been really rewarding for me to be able to help other people in that way, and like getting messages from people that are thankful for my help. So I'm glad that I've been so open about it and that I have been able to impact anyone. Like, that's something that I'm very passionate about. And
And what would you, I mean, I can hear it in your voice, and I absolutely love that. You know, we have in our family, you know, there's some younger people that have really struggled, you know, with weight issues and things. And I suppose it's probably a bit different for us because there are so many people, you know, within our circle that have gone down the path of surgery. But what would you say to a parent that's listening to this podcast? What would you say to them if they're, you know, sitting on the fence about this surgery for their child?
I would say, like, obviously everyone's circumstances are different, but I would say that, like, what is there to lose? What is there to lose? That's how I looked at it. and kind of my parents too. I had no quality of life.
Yeah.
I was so depressed. I barely left the house. I didn't socialize. And I was kind of at a point where, you know, I either did it or I was just going to continue on a cycle of continuing to gain weight. There was not going to be any chance of me taking charge of it without weight loss surgery. So it was kind of a very black or white mentality for me. And yeah, from a parent's perspective, I guess I have parents as well that have struggled with their weight their whole lives too. So they definitely were empathetic, and like you, had the same experience of, you know, seeing it from the perspective of what they were like as teens and when they were younger. And they didn't have this option, so they wanted to give me all of the options.
Wonderful.
So I would just say, like, there's not much to lose if you're already at a place where you feel like you're kind of at a dead end. Then yeah, I can't recommend it enough. But again, everyone's circumstances are different. So yeah.
And how would you, what would you say to a parent who isn't sure about how to talk to their child about it? You know, because I guess we have some parents that are sort of scared to upset or
don't want their children to feel any type of judgment or shame or anything, but they're just concerned, I suppose, for their health. Would you, as you know, consider you an expert in this field for your age group? Would you suggest that it is something that you should wait for the child to bring up, or do you think that it's okay for a parent to gently broach that subject? What's your views on that?
I think it depends on the child. It depends what you've spoken to your child about in the past. I have had a very open relationship with both of my parents, and so weight and dieting and my health problems, that's been on the table for many, many years, and something that we've spoken about as a family often. So it was kind of just natural for us, I guess, to talk about, because nothing's really kept quiet in our house. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something we tiptoe around. But it wasn't like a conversation where mum just said, you know, you should do this. It was you know, we really care about you. We can see you're struggling. And I just want you to know that this is something that we would support you in.
Yeah, what a beautiful way to put it. I think that that's very wise.
Yeah. So I would just say to parents to be open. Be open with your children. Maybe not go straight into the weight loss surgery thing if you haven't had a history of talking about weight or health problems with them in the past. Probably start with having little trickle conversations about other things before you jump straight into having a conversation about weight loss surgery. But yeah, I wouldn't push it on anyone, but just talk openly about it as an option, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's really
brilliant.
Really very, very good. And who, is it okay for us to ask, who was your surgeon?
Dr. Ian Martin at the Wesley in Brisbane.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that's a rarity too, because it was so hard to find a surgeon that would operate underage. I was 17. So we rang around, and every time the receptionist would just say, yeah, no, come back when you're 18.
Yeah. And also,
so
I mean, we even know that some hospitals even do have, you know, very stringent criteria around that as well. So it's important, I think, and thank you for sharing who the surgeon was, because it's so important for people to know where to go.
Yeah, I think it's a case-by-case thing with the surgeons too. I hate that black and white mentality that some of them have about, you know, wait until you're 18. Well, I was having major health problems at 17. Like, it's not like I should wait another year to have it. I should have had it when I was wanting it. And that's how he looked at it, was, you know, you're having these issues now. Let's get on top of it now. Let's not wait, you know.
Fabulous that he was willing to do that.
Massive shout out to Dr. Martin. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I really, really love that he was willing to go down that route.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
I was nervous because I was just scared they were going to say, go away and try again on your own.
Oh,
I was like, I've been doing this my whole life. I don't want to do it on my own anymore.
Yes, we've been on that merry-go-round. Can we please get off?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you think your health is going now?
Besides the
Look,
reflux, obviously.
it's hard with me because I have a pre-existing condition that's going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
lifelong. But that it's definitely helped. Like my condition makes me dislocate all of my joints multiple times a day. And so obviously having weight on puts more strain through every one of my joints and can cause like a lot of soft tissue injuries. So obviously in the long run, being a lower weight is going to take the strain off of the rest of my body, and stop those issues hopefully from worsening. So yeah, it's definitely been a benefit for my health. I can't say it's done anything bad other than the reflux. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's given you the ability to, be out, be active and
How's it been for you socially? Like,
Oh yeah. Socially it's done wonders. I hit my goal weight like a month after I turned 18.
oh, I love it. That's so
So
good.
I was able to like, and this wasn't me beforehand. Like I was so antisocial. I was very much just my immediate circle. But yeah, definitely able to feel comfortable enough to put myself out there and meet new people and yeah, just go out and socialize without having that added layer of lack of confidence. Like I was at my peak confidence when I was 18. So yeah, my poor mum. Good and bad that was, but yeah, overall.
No, I actually really, really love that, and that it hit right then, like the goal weight. You hit your goal weight. You're 18. You can go out, live your life.
I could wear things that I never thought about wearing before. I look back now and think, Jesus. But,
No, but look, that's all just part of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
well,
think it is
exactly.
anyway.
I'm so glad I have that now. Like I always think if I hadn't have lost the weight, would I have still, would I have not been able to experience those things, and would I have still just kind of stayed in my own little bubble and not put myself out there? I wouldn't have had the experience I've had now. I feel like I'd have a completely different attitude and everything if I hadn't have experienced those things at that age. So
yeah. Oh, look, well, I mean, I can say for myself, I was a bigger girl when I graduated year 12, and I actually avoided schoolies because of it. I go out because of it. I definitely stayed in my little bubble. So yeah, I'm just so happy to hear stories like yours where people just are out there living their best lives.
Yeah.
It's
it's so
awesome.
good.
And
And I always think
inspiring
like,
others.
pardon?
And inspiring others.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly what I want to do. I just think if you can help anyone, not struggle the way you've struggled, then why wouldn't you? So
100%.
I
So
view it.
how about you tell us what your socials are so that people can follow you?
Yeah, so most of my posting about weight loss surgery is on TikTok. I make a lot of short form videos talking about my journey. So that's Ellie Baxter 03.
Awesome.
And then my Instagram is Ellie Baxter _. But yeah, I post a lot in your Facebook page. Well, I have in the past when I was younger. So
yeah. Well, we'll include those links in the episode description as well.
Yeah, because we really, Ellie, we just absolutely love everything that you stand for, and we really want people to know that weight loss surgery is good at all ages.
Yeah, absolutely.